YouTube, it's Brian Phillips, and we've got a special stand-in guest today. He's gonna be riding this Arc 1 from Tuttio. It is a special new electric dirt bike, which is gonna be super exciting. 750 watts, 22 miles an hour. You can limit the speed. And without further ado, we're gonna show it riding. You ready to do this thing? Okay, let's go ahead. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna show you how to turn the bike on, and we're gonna show you how it works real quick, just a basic overview. Okay, so turn it on with the power button. So it turns on, the light comes on. This light is pointable. We are gonna go through a full unbox and build. There is no radio setup on this, but then the screen is really well designed. It's very easy to see in the bright sun. And we've got a horn as well as the light control here. So it's just on and off. Go ahead and let go. When you change the speeds, one thing to watch out for is when you have a kid that's not used to riding, this has a twist throttle. So make sure that they either depress the brake or depress the brake or depress both brakes as they're getting prepared to go. And then when they turn on the speed, if they put it to speed 5, it will be ready to turn, but just be careful, it can lunge, okay? Because if you have this twisted, it's gonna jump on you. Okay, so the light's on. The lights that are on the center of the bike are always on. There's a suspension front and suspension back. It's a mid suspension, I should say. The bike slides out, the battery slides out to the side. You do need a key to do it. We'll show all these things in more detail as we do the unbox, as well as all the parameters, but we didn't change any parameters on this bike. We showed that you can lower the speed if you want to reduce it. But I can tell you this, after a minute or two of riding, it's just going to come down to telling the kid what they can do. And you can set this number 5 to number 3 and it will reduce the speed. You don't have to go into the parameters to do it. We're going to have him run around this hayfield. There's a lot of topography here, so you get an idea for what type of power you can expect from 750 watts on a 16-inch wheel. Remember, it's only driven in the back, just like most e-bikes, but of course there's no pedals. So keep in mind that you don't have infinite power to get started. So if you're running and you hit a hill, it's gonna help, but it's also not gonna be a powerhouse that should scare all the mothers in the room. What's his inseam, camera crew?
26 inches.
And how tall is he?
4'8".
4'8", okay, and he's about 80 something pounds. That's well within the range. This bike will handle 150. You ready to go? You can go ahead and run. So we're just gonna show this from up here so you can kind of see how it handles the bumps. And as you can see, it is no problem getting up and down on the topography. It's totally silent, which is really cool. So if you guys have neighbors and you're in town, maybe you've got a bigger yard, it is not gonna annoy the crap out of your neighbors because going vroom, 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 all that stuff. So if you want a dirt bike, but you don't want to, go ahead and give us one more loop. Go around closer to the pond this time. So this time he's gonna go out and around on the other side, and he's gonna do the same circuit, just to give you an idea. There's a lot of differences in the paths. And usually when we ride this path, we're going the other direction and we're going very fast. But it's hard to film it because it's very narrow as you fly through there, and it's a super fun area. But that all being said, remember, if you can get up a hill with a bike, that means you have plenty of power. That is a steep hill at the pace that he's making. If I was riding one of my bikes that are like 1,300 watts, okay, we'll stop here, bud. Then I would barely get up that hill. I'd have to be carrying 20 miles an hour to make it up the hill. Now this bike will go 22 miles an hour, flat and level in the right size class. He's the right size class. His big sister is probably on the edge of being able to be in the size class. And then big brother is outside of the size class. I am way outside of the size class. So what we're gonna do now is we'll reset and give you a couple of different vantage points as he does different circuits. So he's gonna take a similar path, but he's gonna go around and show you across the bridges and stuff. Remember, this is supposed to be a dirt bike and not so much just a regular bicycle. So we're trying to kind of test the capabilities, and this is a rough terrain, and it's gonna be a really fun bike for people that are used to having a bicycle that may not do so hot in rough terrain. Now this bridge we built recently, let's come over a little bit further so they can see it. This is our bike bridge is what we call it. And so we just got done building that one. Good job, bud. Okay, so as you guys know, when you get kids that are riding bikes, it's sometimes difficult to get them to go down giant hills like that. But it is one thing that we do. Do you want to go down the death hill for the video? Yeah. Okay, all right, we'll film it. All right, so he's gonna try. This is kind of the mild death hill. So we love this hill, and we'll see. That is a very steep bank. And so the only way that it really works is if you carry a lot of speed or you have a lot of power. And so we love riding that spot. It's really fun. It gives you a lot of the fun things that you would get out of a dirt bike. You just keep doing it a few times. But it's also a little bit of a technical challenge for the kids. But that spot is an e-bike killer, okay? If you can't make it up out of the crest of that hill, then you're stuck and the motor shuts off. And that's why this is such a good bike. It's gonna give you the power to get out of the hole. So this is another circuit we like to run. And so obviously this is just a drainage ditch for us. And we love driving over here. It's so much fun. And one of the reasons that we have the red mark is because we're doing some directional boring, in case you guys were wondering, for our aerodrome, so we can get our damn gift shop built. Very good. Perfect. How does it handle the hills? Good. You got to speak up.
Very good.
It does handle. How about the power at the top of the hill when you're coming out of the ditch?
Good.
Yeah, it was enough to get you over the crest, right?
Yeah.
Because normally with the other bike that you would ride, you would have to carry all your speed from running down the runway and then hop down and do it, right?
Yeah.
So even on rough gravel, this is 3-inch clean, that's got loose pack. It seems to do pretty dang good. It looks like kind of a rough ride. Keep your feet on those pedals. How was that?
Like 19.
19?
Yeah.
So you almost got to the max speed?
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty good because that's only about probably 225 or 230 feet from the beginning till here.
And it's windy right now.
And it's windy, but the wind is with him, so it would help. So do you believe it would go 22 miles an hour in the right conditions?
Yeah, I got it to go 20 when I was just riding.
Okay, so you could get it to go to 20.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, there you have it, guys. High-speed passes, hills, bumps, all the things that you might want from the ARC one. Super well done, really fun. Can't wait to break this in a little bit when it's not so cold. So check it out, links in the video description below if you want to help support our family and all the different RC things we do, and even when they're not RC. All right, so we have one more rider. She's in the weight range, and she has 32 inseam.
Yes.
So she's taller. I'm 6 foot tall. We'll just leave it at that. That's good enough. But she is on the limit in the area. So if you guys are getting one for a bigger kid, this will help you have an idea of what type of performance you're gonna get. Keep in mind, it's not gonna be as fast as you might want it to be, kids. All right, here we go. So keep in mind, they have not had a lot of practice with this. And she is more timid than the other stand-in for Brian Phillips RC. So remember, a little bit downhill, you'll carry a lot more speed. And by the way, we will show this bike in the dark so you can see how the headlight performs. She seems to be doing very good.
She said it's really smooth.
Yeah, which she would definitely not be at full throttle right now. Okay, was that full throttle the whole way?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, whatever, it wasn't.
It's only in 4. Oh, it's
You
in
did
4.
do it in 5? Okay, so what do you think?
I like it. It's really smooth, and I do like how the whole handle is the actual acceleration.
Okay, instead of a thumb throttle?
Yeah.
Okay, did it feel like it wanted to lunge away from you like some of the thumb throttles?
Not
You know
really.
how they like pull into it and it's,
Yeah,
"Ooh,"
sometimes.
like on the scooters?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I didn't do that at all.
How about the seat? You're bigger than your brother, so obviously did the seat
Yeah.
feel like you were crowded really bad?
Not really. I just sat further back.
Okay, so the steel was supportive enough for this aluminum
Yeah, I just
piece.
sat like at the
So this will,
very back.
I mean, I can sit on this and okay, so let's just show, this is gonna be the real, so if you try to really press the limits, guys, this will carry yours truly. It's just that I can't get onto the controls fully, okay? Remember kids, cover the brake, cover the brake. All right, so one of the things we fought to get with e-bikes, especially dirt bikes, which we've only had 2 successfully so far, is going up hills because you have no pedals to help. You have to be able to power up the hill, right? So she's gonna take this and cut around just like our smaller kid did, and she's gonna come up this hill and she's gonna come out on the driveway if it works, okay? So carry as much speed as you can, but I want you to cut this way and go around by the gas tank just like he did and see if you can make it back up to the flat of the driveway, okay? Ready, go. So obviously downhill, no problem. There are brake lights, the brakes do work, and when the lights are off, the brakes are pretty clear. She's obviously a little bit more tucked in on this bike,
She is.
which is, I think it's funny looking.
She's tall, too,
Yeah.
for her age.
Give it everything it's got. Let's see if it goes. Is it going? Well, see, they all cheated. Okay, so that's the other thing too. Okay, so come on up here and we'll talk for a sec. So one thing that I feel like this actually does that I was surprised by is that if you're a bigger frame kid, you can still pedal bike it and help along the way, which I didn't even really think about. But if you can pedal bike this thing, she's tall, come over here so they can see. So basically when you're riding it and you take your weight off, then it has no problem pulling itself up the hill. But then you just kind of straddle it and walk up the hill. And it reminds me of when we had kids that were little, like yesterday, they could use a pedal bike. And the pedal bikes worked really good for that sort of thing. And that was how all of our kids learned to ride bikes, right?
With the Strider bike.
A Strider bike.
With no pedals.
Yes, and we did have a little dirt bike. That was the third one, because you remember the little dirt bike was a Stride bike that was electric. And I think that was like 100 watts or something. It's very small.
Yeah.
This is, again, 750 watts. It will go 22 miles an hour, which is another way of saying downhill with a tailwind. Or if you're like 50 pounds. So if you have a really small kid and you trust them on a bike that's framed this size, it might do it. But just keep in mind, it's a relatively heavy bike still. So did you feel like it was hard to control it all up the hill?
Nope, not really. Just had to help it a little bit.
Okay. Do you want to take the death hill once? No?
I can.
Okay, do it. So the death hill for our daughter is evidently the easy side, not
It's the level 1 death hill.
not the other side.
It's not the Black Diamond Hill. It's
The Black Diamond
whatever.
Hill is where the zero turn tried to flip over and kill me.
Yes. She's gonna see if she can get some more
See,
speed.
she's
and
gonna
get
see
up
if you
this hill.
just turn left, or that way, that other way. Yeah. See, it does okay. And by the way, guys, this is a lot of grade. It doesn't seem like it on camera, but she's come up like 20 feet from where she was. And that's a lot of grade for a little bike.
Yeah.
Okay. We're really impressed with how well it's done. It seems to be smooth. It seems to be fun. We just have to teach our kids to keep their feet on the pedals. So, thoughts?
I like it.
So, are you gonna be jealous of your brother?
Maybe.
I don't think she will. It's okay. You'll probably survive, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, without further ado, you know how to do it. Smash the like button, click the bell for notifications. And if you want to buy one of these ARC ones, we'll have links to it so that you can get one for your very own children, not yourself, unless you're very small. And if you're very small and you fit on this, go for it. But at the end of the day, other ways to support us. Super thanks. YouTube members, Patreon, and PayPal, all encouraged if you want to throw a buck or two. But I would suggest, instead of doing that, buy an RC model, buy a bike for your kid, or buy a battery or transmitter or something that you need. Help support the partners that partner with us on Brian Phillips RC so we can bring all these cool products to you in time and space, and obviously show how they really work and not just what the marketing companies show. Which, by the way, I've never seen an e-bike where somebody doesn't do like an all-wheel burnout, and I'm like, I've never done that, ever. Not even once. But I have ridden them up and down hills that we have coined death hills. And probably for most of you, they're very lame hills. But that's okay, because for us, it's a big deal, since I can't ride there without getting a brain injury.
No, you were there.
No, I wasn't. I was there.
You were. You don't remember.
Oh. So I was there
Yes.
on that hill?
Yes.
That's a really big hill. I'm surprised I even survived. So anyway, that's all you get for today on this e-bike, the Arc One. It's really fun to do these e-bikes. If you've never had or experienced an e-bike, they are different than you might expect. They make you feel like Superman when you're pedaling or when you're not. So check it out, links in the video description. Also, you can follow all the other ride-on equipment we've ever done at brianphillipsrc.com, or you can just type bprc.me, and then you'll go to ride-ons, sorted just like it was a Warbird or it was a sailplane. We have ride-on equipment and all the different e-bikes we've done in the past. So thanks for helping us out. So here it is. This is a nighttime run for you. The light is only so bright. You can definitely point it and you can tell it has its limitations, but it reaches out and it's sort of not dispersed where you want it, but you'll get it used to it. You'll have to make adjustments. This is our son. He is right in the weight range and he is right in the right size. So this is about his 30th second driving. We're just gonna have him run up and down so you can kind of see the darker performance and see how nice the lights look. Go ahead, we do have him mic'd. He's in speed 5. And so he's gonna be kind of careful and a little bit timid right now because it's his first time doing it. And he's gonna do a little off-road here just to show you how it works. Of course, there's some small trees and things he'll avoid over here. There's a little bit of a bump there he's gonna go under. And he said it's really good for going across the off-road. He said he got to 15 just a second ago. We're just kind of doing a quick test to get an idea. You can see the lights are pretty bright. Of course, it's really hard to film at night because the cell phones will cheat and make it look brighter than it actually is. He's got tons of room to be able to slow down the brakes. We did adjust the back brake just a hair because it seemed a little loose. And he fits really nice. It makes his legs glow. So we both really like that light in the center. That's perfect. Good job. How does it feel to you?
Good.
Is it fast?
Yeah.
If you get into the throttle, are you twisting it really hard or are you just a little bit on the throttle?
Sometimes a lot, sometimes a little. But
Okay,
it's still
how about
fast
you give
either
us
way.
a fast acceleration, but let's go real slow and then we'll get lined up with the runway and I'll have you do a full throttle, okay? Give her full throttle. So as you can see, guys, you're looking at a pretty non-intense, aggressive acceleration. And that's important if you're wanting to keep your kids from getting in an accident, and that is with an unlimited speed. So right now, we're pretty much at that max speed. Keeping in mind, there's a little bit of uphill tendency on this from both directions. That's good. Hard brake. Yeah, see, it takes a little bit of distance to slow down, but he's trying to stay on the driveway right now. So, all right, guys, you've already seen it in the dark. Now you can kind of make up your mind. Hopefully the day footage helps fill up any gaps. YouTube, Brian Phillips. We have a box, but I have gloves on, so you know it's serious. Tuttio is a different cycling experience. The Arc One, we're gonna unbox this right now. We do cars, we do trucks, we do ride-on vehicles from time to time. This is a ride-on vehicle that is gonna be designed for one of our children to ride. And so you might find some value in following along in our unbox. You've already seen us ride it. I hope it's awesome. And when I say us, I mean not me, because I'm over the weight limit by just a wee bit. That being said, here on Brian Phillips RC, we predominantly do fixed wing aircraft, helicopters, quads, VTOLs, all that stuff. And you have come to experience all sorts of different strategies on how to get the most out of that. But we also do ride-on equipment once in a while. Sometimes it's radio-controlled cars that we can drive our children around with a radio control, which is hilarious. Or they can drive themselves. This is one of those times. So hopefully we'll answer some questions. If you guys are interested in following along, stay tuned for this portion of the video. We call this the Unbox Build radio setup. And in this case, there will be no radio. And there hopefully will be limited build because it is a relatively big package, okay? That being said, if you're brand new to Brian Phillips RC, welcome. We don't want you to think you are at the wrong channel. But we're gonna start by taking out the staples. We're using needle nose pliers that were not provided. We also have a pair of side cutters and a box cutter. Hopefully all these things together will get our box open without too much trouble. Our experience has been and will continue to be with e-bikes. Keep the packaging, make sure everything works, and we'll tell the full truth, nothing but the truth, so help us God, just like we do with the airplanes, helicopters, and all that sort of thing. Frankly, when we're done with this one, we have another one in the relatively near future, which is gonna be for a bigger kid. So if you see this and you think, you know, my kid would really enjoy that, but I think he's a little bit too tall, a little bit too wide, a little bit too heavy, whatever it is, we'll have another one soon. So stay tuned. Also, smash the bell for notifications so you can be notified of new content that's right around the corner. Oh, shoot, it's stapled and glued.
Oh, geez. So packaging so far.
Well, yeah, it seems pretty good. We've got a little bit of damage on the sides, but it's nothing crazy. Like, show them this. We would normally put this up on the island, but we're gonna see how it comes out first. We have had some boxes that came from different manufacturers that were really destroyed.
Yeah.
Camera crew, I'm gonna probably need your help on this one. Just push down on that so I can pull.
Oh, okay.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, man.
So now sometimes we have to cut them, sometimes we have to break them apart like this. It just depends. See, this one's kind of like in this weird middle ground where it's not quite heavy enough to pull the lid off. Wowzers. Man, why did they glue it and staple it? That's nutty.
Yeah, that
And this
seems
is
excessive.
really, make no mistake, this is what we do on Brian Phillips RC. We go through the entire painstaking process so that you don't have to wonder if you can do it yourself, okay? I'm gonna now cut the corner because I have failed. And I'm gonna do it in such a way that I don't hopefully slam my elbow into this countertop. Okay, so I've cut that corner. Now I'm gonna cut this corner. Remember, this is a last resort. Don't start this way. See if you can open yours. But we have learned from doing this, when you cut, keep it shallow so you don't cut in too deep and cut to product that's inside. Sometimes you would think you won't cut it on the edge, but we've had some bikes that are right on the side of the box.
Yeah.
And they will actually put plastic to protect it. So let's show you what it looks like, okay? Okay, look guys, really well packed. But you can see what I was talking about. If you cut too deep, you might catch something that you need to keep intact, okay? So obviously the preferred method would be to actually unglue or uncut, and that doesn't always work. So I'm gonna just very carefully cut the tabs off because these boxes get huge. By the way, these, I'm just a little side note, Brian Phillips RC style. These are awesome for screwdriver holders. They are the impeccable type of foam because all you have to do is just stab it in, and the next thing you know, you've got this awesomely organized screwdriver setup. I'm just telling you, it's awesome. So you should keep every piece of foam like this you ever get.
Yeah, definitely.
Sometimes your wife might not agree with you. Okay, so looking inside the box, we're well packed. And by the way, this is the really dense stuff, okay? So some of these manufacturers we've noticed have started doing this like really pansy cardboard crap. It does not hold up, not like we want it to.
Bikes are heavy.
Bikes are very heavy.
They're going a long ways.
And they're getting banged around, and even with this, you'll find damage from time to time. And we will show all of it here on Brian Phillips RC. Okay, so just so you know where we are, I'm now getting to the point where this is kind of getting in the way, so I'm just gonna rip these tabs off. It's one to keep the lid from opening all the way. Like I said, we would normally keep the box, but since this one's giving us trouble, see, right here's what I was talking about. They put these little reinforcements on the cardboard and it protects the wheel from poking through, okay? So then also you gotta keep your mind sharp for sometimes there's boxes like this. This is probably where the charger is and there's a toolkit more than likely. Full disclosure, this blade is just started yesterday. We had to rescreen that particular screen because our cats love attacking it. So it is a almost brand new fresh knife. Arc one, pretty cool. It's ready to go. Instruction manual, I would imagine that's probably pretty useless. 17 and 16, or is that 19 and 17? I guess that'd be probably 19. Few zip ties. That's probably to mount this. Then this one is 16 for us and 13, okay? And then it comes with an Allen tool set. And there's some, actually inside of this tool set, this also has what appears to be a bit of like a box end set, as well as a socket set, which is pretty sweet. So yeah, so that goes in there. I think you would drive, like if you wanted to use this tool, see how it's got a square on it? I think you have to actually run this out and it would go on the end like that, okay? So these multi-tools are nice in a pinch, but they are designed to be something that you can bring along on a ride, okay? So keep it small, keep it concise, and there's a bag for it, which is nice. This box is now empty. We're gonna show you the full contents of every package that opens out of here, just in case there's some value that can come to you.
Do you wanna open that white box that was in it?
Yeah, I will, thank you. Good point, that's the charger almost certainly. I don't know why I decided not to open that, sorry folks. Okay, so this is a charger. So this one has no markings on the front. It says battery charger. The output is 42 volts at 1.5 amps. Feels nice and heavy, which is good. It's got a regular drum style connector. And it looks like the outside is negative and the inside is positive. That's not uncommon on this drum style connector. It's got those side tabs. Sometimes they'll be a little bit different. And then this has a standard non-grounded AC plug that will be used to plug into the AC power. Now, if you guys are ordering this in another country, there's a high probability that's gonna come with a different power cord kit, but I don't know for sure how they're gonna handle it at this company. So you'll wanna pay special attention if you're overseas or if you have different styles of connectors. So we'll come back to that here after a little bit. In fact, we may end up putting the bike up here to work on it. So I'm kind of hoping that that will work well. We kind of hang on to all the packaging just to make sure there's not anything special, okay? So a couple things we've learned as we've opened so many of these bikes. I like to usually cut the box open so it can fall open. I try my best to cut them in such a way that they fall opened without dropping the bike, okay? If I can pull staples and get it to fold open, we do that, but it doesn't always work. This is one of those times where it's not gonna work like that. So I'm gonna go here. I know how it's situated, so I can cut this. I like to ride the outside edge and I just draw it up. Remember, sharp knife is safer than a dull knife. If your knife is dull, switch the blade. Also keep in mind, if you're opening it on your hardwood floors, be careful of staples. If the staples are on the other side, when you get this on your doorstep, don't drag it around with those staples. You'll scratch the crap out of your floor, okay? All right, so then we'll go right here and don't dive any deeper than you have to get it cut, okay? And then once that's done, see, I didn't go deep enough, okay? And then I've got just a little bit more. Sometimes you can peel this out and cut from the inside, not on this one, but I can pull it out and that keeps it away from potentially hitting a tire or something, okay? So just let that fall to the ground. I'm noticing a nut right now. Grab your nuts, obviously. Don't be shy. Get them out of the way, okay? This will come in handy certainly at some point soon, okay? We'll try to talk about the size of nuts if there is a nut involved or different tools that we're gonna need that are included or not included. So if you guys don't have a pair of side cutters, diagonal cutters or dikes, you may need to have something like that. This is a huge zip tie Goodness gracious. I'm gonna undo that. Try not to slash yourself on them. And then I keep these things forever.
Yes.
As you might imagine. So now if I lean this out, you can see what I was talking about earlier. This will protect the axle from going through the side of the box. And there's one down there. And it is not attached to anything. Okay, there's another bag or box that's down here. That's on the middle. So let's pop that out. Okay. Throw that away. Keep the zip tie in case we need it. Cut this. We'll see what's inside. This is the unknown nut, okay?
Okay.
All right, so this is what appears to be a headlight. Okay. So it looks like a nice headlight, plastic protective coating. You can always tell when they've got a really wide band. This one looks like it's gonna be really wide, and then they almost always have some sort of a 3-pin or 2-pin plug that's gonna steal power from the bike, which is very nice. Some of the headlights, some of the taillights are battery operated, and that is no bueno, in my opinion. Okay.
And this one doesn't have the big grill thing on it that creates shadows and stuff, which should be
Yeah, and we've
clear.
noticed that that's a really popular style on these bikes, and they make them pretty useless.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping it's bright, but we'll see. I'm not holding my breath, guys. Here on Brian Phillips RC, we aim to please, but part of that means we're ready to be disappointed, okay? That is a very gold and very McDonald's looking. We're gonna see if it looks good once it's all out. Looks like probably about a 20-inch tire, is that right?
You can also get that in a silver. I think it's a 14.
This part's silver,
Yes.
and that's always
It's
red,
still
right?
red, yep.
Okay. So I'm just gonna start cutting. You never know exactly which one you have to cut, but we try our best to get it in a position where we can pull it out without losing the handlebars down. So the handlebars are loose now. So we found that a lot of times these blocks will eventually, there'll be a block that you can straddle the wheel into, and it's really handy to keep the bike vertical while you're trying to do your work on it. And you will generate quite a bit of garbage, so just be ready for it, okay? All right. There's a kick pedal. Man, that's really robust.
Oh, nice.
It's got texture on it, and it's gonna kick up out of the way. I love it. Okay, so you see the handlebars. I probably should have left that one zip tie on there. I don't necessarily wanna lay it down, but we could cut the tire free. In fact, would you mind grabbing the side cutters for me there, camera crew? Okay, so as we do this, we've done so many bikes over the years, and we've never really found a super obvious way to unbox them. There just always seems to be something a little bit different about the way they tie stuff together. Okay, so camera crew, very carefully lay that on the island so that it can rest with the axle down. Very good. Thank you. Then we'll just throw the foam. Oh, crap. Okay, so we'll just throw that up there. So you guys see what I'm talking about. You want the yoke to be flat so it'll hold the bike up. And then sometimes, let's pull this out. Okay, so it spins free. And we show this entire process too, not just to make the video long and obnoxious, but really at the end of the day, a lot of people need help with this sort of thing. And so we want to show you how involved it really ends up being. Some of these bikes come out and all you have to do is bolt on a front wheel. But our experience has been most of the time it's way more involved. And sometimes they're way, way, way too much. Wow, that is a cool color actually. Now that I'm seeing it, and that's metal. Holy cow. Hope nobody wants to sit on that. But then look at this. It's a big soft chair. Infinite possibilities, it says. I wonder if that glows.
Yeah, I wonder.
Okay, so this is just tape, by the way. So I'm just kind of ripping it off. Kickstand, cool. It's always nice to get to the kickstand because then you can potentially, and by the way, they use a lot of the same kickstands on e-bikes we found. And a lot of times they're really poorly adjusted and even poorlier, if that's a word, mounted. Okay, so we have a mud flap. So we'll probably slide this out of the bag. Ooh, that's a nice looking mud flap, really cool. Okay, I'm assuming that's the front wheel. Okay, camera crew, I'm gonna have you throw this in the garbage for me just as I keep supporting this. So the handlebars are hanging down. I wish I would have left that one done but there isn't really a super obvious way to do this in order. By the way, when you go to tighten these, make sure you get them really torqued down, okay? I had one e-bike we did, it was called like a Nanu or something, and I had that thing spin on me. I ended up crashing, and I was fortunate not to get hurt that time. But then the other time I got hurt on that bike, I lost my sense of smelling. Still don't have it years later. Very awkward. Wear a helmet, kids. I wouldn't have lost my sense of smelling if I would have had a helmet on. But I was just screwing around thinking it was no big deal up and down the driveway. And now I can't smell stuff, which is weird. Mostly, okay? That looks very nice. I like that they go down and come back up. We got a USB-A here, and then that's our charge port. So we want to get to that eventually. We can see the brakes and everything down there. It looks like that's probably where the nut came off, okay?
Okay.
So this is not an uncommon scenario. I'm just trying to think of the best way to get this up on the island, probably. So we'll go down to the far island. Camera crew's gonna hold that for me in just a second. By the way, if you don't know who the camera crew is, she's my wife. Oh, that is so sweet. It hasn't fallen yet, but I really don't want this to fall. So how about you traverse and grab that foam for me? And then I can keep a hand on this, and then side cutters in your hand. And by the way, we ordinarily wouldn't do that because camera crew normally holds the camera, and she's pretty good about helping me get these builds done. But the truth is, with the bikes, they're a little bit more involved at times. Okay.
Just getting them unpackaged is just a lot.
It can be a thing.
Pieces.
Yeah, it's a lot of steps.
Yep.
Frankly, they're not really hard steps. And if we weren't filming it, I'm gonna use this tape, by the way, to peel off the other pieces of tape. See what I'm doing? Mm-hmm. Okay, very good. Beautiful. Man, this thing looks really nice. Yeah. I am so excited for our youngest.
Yeah.
He is gonna love this.
He is.
He's excited. More than slightly excited about this. And I am really excited for him. How fast is this one supposed to go, by the way?
It's pretty fast.
Like 40?
I want to say 35 or 40.
So, by the way, you can change the speed that the bike goes. You can turn it down if you're concerned as the kids get to a point where you're comfortable with them riding. Our youngest is the daredevil of our kids, but he is also a pretty good driver. Mm-hmm. I can't think of a time he's crashed.
No.
He's crashed things, but not bikes.
Not himself. Yeah.
Yeah. Other people have crashed into him. I was thinking of the Silverado that they rolled down a hill.
Yeah.
Okay, so if in doubt, when you've got the handlebars freed, that's usually your key time to figure out how to do it. You have to get this freed out before you can put the wheel on. So the temptation is to try to like get the wheel on first, but on this one, you can't do that first. You have to start with the handlebars, okay? And the other thing is that's kind of tough about some of these bikes is you want to get the instruction manual if you're into that sort of thing, but we don't have access to it because it's way over there on the middle of the island.
Yeah.
And so I won't be able to reach it, unfortunately. By the way, I just want to point out something. Look at this. Now, I can't tell if the yoke is broken or if this is just bent. Oh, it's just turned sideways. This needs to be, okay, this is supposed to be, yeah, see? This is supposed to be like that. See, it's allowed to spin.
Okay.
And so the singular nut that came off is right here. This would normally be trapped. Okay, so that would go like that. Normally, that would be right like that or something similar, okay? And that would hold everything intact. And then, of course, you've got the front suspension, okay? But in our case, we didn't even have to remove it. It just came out on its own. Okay, so that'll go right there. And that is probably going to be just goodies for us. Okay, so now the handlebars are gonna just twist out and go up. And then usually you just have to rock it around. But admittedly on this bike, I think we're probably gonna have to turn this back, lay it down gently. We wanna make sure this isn't gonna fall so I can release this. And then once I release this, I believe we have to go around the other side. So we might have to look at the manual for that. The other big thing we wanna do in this Unbox build radio setup is point out the features, the lights, show it working, and then also show it charging because we need it charged before we can do our maiden run, okay? And when we say maiden run, that would be the first run if you guys aren't used to flying airplanes and boats and things like that. So we're gonna pause, we'll get the manual and look at it. Okay, so we got some clarification in the manual. We do have to make sure this thing spins. Pay attention for a sec here, cam crew. This is already loose enough to spin, okay? So it just has to go forward, which is what I assumed would happen, okay? So it goes forward. You're gonna have to eventually get that squared, and there's tighten here and tighten here, okay? And then tighten here eventually to bite everything together. Then this is backward right now, okay? So obviously that's wrong. So my only fear is I don't want to tangle the cables any more than necessary. So check which way gives you more freedom. That's going to tighten it up more. This is going to keep it loose. So we're going to go that way. You have to like really pay attention to this stuff because if you do it wrong, your cables will try to come undone every time you hit a bump or do something weird. And these things can be undone. They're just twisted around the cabling and you can literally pull them straight off, okay? If you ever have the unfortunate incident of having to replace a display or a horn or a light, you'll hate life for a minute as you route the cables through these bundles, okay? But you can do it, okay? All right, so this is gonna ultimately flip up here, and that is why I'm always super nervous about this step, because once you get this step done, things are a lot less scary. I just don't want stuff to fall, okay? So I'm gonna cut the zip tie that has the provided keys on it. We did pause going through the instructions, so we have a key, which is pretty nice, and it's got some sort of a number on it, so you might be able to make blanks, even if you lost it. Yeah, see, it's got a number on it.
Okay.
Ours says the number, okay? And there's a keyhole over here, and that unlocks the battery. We'll get back to that. So what do you do to actually get this bike built? Well, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get this thing situated so we have the best chance of it not falling, okay? Which includes just be comfortable, but you don't want this thing to fall, okay? If you're alone setting this up and you need help, what I would do is I would put blocks of foam here. In fact, well, let's show people that just in case they have never, or if they don't have a second set of hands. You see all these blocks, guys? Start there, I might need one more.
Okay.
Okay, so you just take the block, find a spot like this. See, that's not enough. So we're gonna need a little bit more, maybe go one more thin. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, grab that thin
That one's
one.
really wide.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
So then what I'm gonna do is, all we need to do is basically make this thing so it can't fall over easily, okay? Even if it does fall over easily, it's not gonna damage anything, okay? I could go that way. That's probably what I should have done. So lift this up just a little bit. It's not too heavy. Yeah, and you'll see that's gonna basically keep it from having the propensity to wanna tip over, but you just don't want it to fall off your counter if you're working on a counter, okay? All right, so now I gotta do this. Let's just show that this tool exactly works, okay? And then I'm gonna use my tools.
Okay.
These are fine tools, but I will warn you, look how slobby they are on the end. They're like in an angle.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would not probably write home about this tool, but it's gonna be, in a pinch, it'll work, okay? So look, it does work. I'm gonna be using just a regular set of tools. If I don't have the right set, then I will get the right set. Because when I build these bikes, I just like to be able to use real tools, if possible, okay? Now, this tool gives you a little bit more leverage, so just keep in mind, if you're using this tool, you can still do another trick, and that is, if you wanna produce a bunch of leverage to torque things down, you can go in here, and when you're going to torque it down, I'm of course gonna have to undo it, you'll torque it like that, and then you can use this to produce some torque, but you're gonna be limited on how much. So you can also take a crescent wrench, which again, not included, and you can bite onto that and you can turn it, and that will give you way more bite. But again, if you're gonna be doing that, you might well just get out a correct tool, get into the longest setting, and then you can get in here, same said crescent wrench, you can really torque them, okay? So just keep in mind, at the end of the day, you wanna rotate just like you're doing your hubcaps, or not hubcaps, but wheels, I guess hubcaps too. If you're tightening them, doing a star pattern, start at the top, move to the diagonal, and so on and so forth until you've got them all torqued down. Of course, on the way out, it's not quite so critical. Also, you can set up, I happen to be using, what size is this? I believe I got a 5/32. I bet it's metric, but that's 5/32. And then on this set, I can't tell what that is, but I think it's probably a 4mm. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it looks like 1, 2, 3. It's either 3 or 4. I can't tell from that diagram. Do you want to show the people while I get these 4 screws out? Can you tell which one it is? It's either 3 or 4.
2, 3, 4. It's 4.
Okay.
It'd be, yeah.
So then also, guys, when you take these bolts off, they're going to have a lock washer. Excuse me. Lock washer, you see? And that is keyed so it won't fall down, which is kind of nice. And you'll find that the hardware is pretty nice on these e-bikes. Sometimes they're better than others. I don't ever go through the trouble of Loctiting anything ever. We've never had an issue with them coming loose, but we have had issues with us not tightening them. Take this out of the way. If in doubt, this looks like it's symmetrical. I'm gonna lay it down and I'll just pick it up, put it right back to the same position. There's a texture on this right here. And so just make sure that that gets you, that should give you something to bite. So that looks about right to me. So we're gonna lay this right over. Can you come over here to my right shoulder? So we're gonna pick this back up, same position, walk it in there, drop it over the top. There is not much texture bite there, which is fine, as long as it doesn't slip. So in just finger tight, I am using gloves. I like nitro gloves. People make fun of me all the time, but I'm a clean freak. And nitro gloves will protect your hands from the oils and stuff, and I just hate being slippery. Okay? So once you get this done, then you'll be able to better control the bicycle. And of course, this is really kind of not a bicycle. It is a dirt bike, because a dirt bike doesn't have pedals. This only has pegs, okay? So our son is super excited for this, and I'm actually really, really excited for him. This, of course, is where your light's gonna plug in. Ooh, how does the light go on? Do we need to, oh, it goes right onto the handlebar.
Yeah, I believe it's the next step.
But it looks like that we're gonna be releasing them and then just going around it.
Yeah, I think so.
That should be pretty straightforward. The other thing is there is a mud guard. That mud guard is gonna go right here, so we don't need to worry about that. We'll probably put that on next after the light, right?
Okay.
So we're just gonna go until this torques down somewhat, and you wanna get kind of an even purchase on the texture here. I should have worn orange gloves today so that you could see. It would look even more clown-like.
People love the orange ones.
Yeah, that's right. This is, by the way, this orange, it's got like a metallic look to it. It's really pretty. And same thing here. I do like the colors, but if you're not into red and orange, you probably won't like the color scheme.
You could do the red and silver.
Yeah, red and silver would be a different look, yeah. So guys, here on Brian Phillips RC, part of the way we partner with these manufacturers, you'll see, come around so they can see this. This is something you'll want to double check. Obviously it's off, okay? Because if this was on, it would run. So be careful. That's throttle, that's a brake, okay? That's another brake. There's a light and a horn, and then this is where you would turn it on. So just be careful, because you got to get this set kind of where you want, approximately. And that's going to really vary based on how big your rider is, okay? Do they tell us exactly, is there any specifics on how that works?
I believe there is. I know the weight limit is 150 pounds.
So you're saying I can definitely ride it?
For sure you can. Not.
Cannot. Exactly. Good point.
I think they have
These will need to be tightened too.
height recommendations, but I didn't see them.
So look, guys, I'm going to take this and I'm going to use it to torque. See that? I just use the circle. And that way I can reach around these wires and cables. Once I get it to where it's torqued, I'm just diagonal. And then I can just go kind of to town on it. And then I'm going to go. So I went here, then here, then here, then here, okay? So just pretty standard mechanical. If you have a little bit of mechanical skills, this should be a pretty easy build. And if you don't have access to that, you can also do this, okay? So if you don't have a hole in yours for hanging, you can do it the other way. I'll show you the other way this time. Once that's torqued down mostly tight, you can just use the mouth of the crescent wrench, just spin it, and that'll give you even more torque. Okay. All right, so that's tightened enough to where we can do what we need to do without fear of it popping off, which is good, okay? The other thing is those will not help it tip. They won't help it stop tipping because they'll just push out of the way. So don't get a false sense of security with that. All right, so now the next thing we need to do is we need to figure out what we're doing for, we're gonna try to do the light, or we're gonna do the light after we put the wheels on?
I think the headlight is the next thing. So if we just want to go in order, tightening the screws, and then remove the 2 screws of the headlight, hang them on the handlebars, and lock the screws.
Okay, so it doesn't say to put the wheel on?
It does not. Not yet.
Okay, so
then
pause
the
for a
wheel is
second.
next.
All right, so we got a 1/8 inch drive on this one. Seems to go in there with the ball. And so alternatively, you could use what, I bet this is probably 2.5 millimeters. 2.5 millimeters. Nope, it's gonna be 3 millimeters. Let's go to 3. This one you could do, yeah, that's 3 millimeters. So it does work, but again, I'm gonna keep using this tool set because it's easier on me. So guys, here at the end of the day, we don't mean to mislead. That's why we point out the fact that we're using separate tools. If you don't have those tools, you could get this done with what comes with the toolkit, but I still firmly believe that it's gonna be better. Now, do these go up or down, or did they mention? I think it goes like this, so the wire comes down. Hey, wire comes down.
That would make sense.
But then the screws are accessible up above. I bet it goes like this. What does it show? Does it show these going over the top, hon?
It looks like the screws are on the top.
Oh, they are.
Here. Well, can you tell from that picture there?
Not really. It's hard to line up. Looks like a different light to me.
It does look different.
Yeah, it's a different light. Okay, never mind. We can't even look at the manual. Guys, I'm gonna go under like this, but I don't even know. I wanna see how it fits first. But see, I wanna make sure that gets up and over the cables, because those cables are gonna get in the way. Unless we went under, maybe we could go under.
Okay.
Nah, but then it's gonna get in the way for sure. I think I wanna be up as high as possible and then point it out, but man, that is gonna block a lot of that light.
Is that adjustable once it's tightened? Will you still be able?
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But then we could also go all the way the other way. Here, let's try that. So folks, we'll try it the other way, okay? So here on Brian Phillips RC, we want to make sure we give you the full truth, nothing but the truth, so help us God. And part of the reason we say that is because it's very easy for people to sell their souls to the devil on YouTube and just say everything that they have worked out partnerships with companies on is the best thing since sliced bread. We don't care enough to do that. So we're just going to be truthful with you because our audience is the only reason that we have a YouTube channel. By the way, this 1/8 was too big. We have to go down to 7/64, and then I'm guessing it's probably gonna be too small. We might have to go back to the provided tool. No, that works. The 7/64 gives us something to drive. And remember, this is just plastic, so it's plastic to plastic, not a big deal. So once we torque these down, then like the camera crew suggested, we'll be able to sort of make adjustments on the fly. Yeah, the 7/64's got a little bit of slip on the high torque at the end. And by the way, camera crew, thank you, camera crew. So we're gonna slide this in. Guys, if you don't know why I call the camera crew, you haven't been with Brian Phillips RC for very long. We work together, been doing this for, I don't know, a little over a decade, filming YouTube videos with your spouse. It's definitely not highly recommended.
It is not.
It's not the best way to do it. But the truth is we get the job done. And this is one of those times where we're both like super excited for our son. He is going to love this thing. I can just already tell it's gonna fit his body well. And we will show you how it fits him and if there's any issues along the way. Also, you're gonna notice that I already torqued down these 4 screws. They will be obstructed by the light, but only so much as you can't move it out of the way and get to them, which is very nice engineering in my opinion. Those screws are tight and it still has a propensity to wanna slip. I'm not a big fan of that detail, but the truth is it's slipping here because it's further over, okay? So what I do, you see how there's no gap and there is a gap?
Yes.
I'm gonna back this one off just a hair. I'm gonna back this one off just a hair using the provided tool this time. We are going to back it off. We're gonna slide it over to what would be the rider's right-hand side, okay? Sorry, it's a little bit hard to hit. This body is wide. Okay, there we go. Let's see if we can get it. Oh, there we go. Is that more even now?
Get it centered up a little bit better.
Yeah, it is. Are you asking me or are you telling me? I'm asking you.
Yeah, well, I can't see through your black glove on this side. Yes, that's more centered than it was.
Good, thank you. All right, so folks, leave it in the comments below if you've ever had an e-bike. Let us know about your experience. We love e-bikes. They're super fun. Of course, there's a lot of biking aficionados out there who just hate the concept of a battery and a motor being involved. But let's just be honest, this is not a bike. This is a motorcycle thingy. All right, so now we need to torque this. Now that we have this down, we can make sure it's torqued so it can't spin, okay? Because remember, this has to be mounted to the adapter here, so we have to torque these both, okay? So I'm gonna go back to my other toolkit because I want to be able to get a little bit more torque on these. I'm gonna try 3/16. Too big, so it looks like 5/32 again. Let's see if that fits. And yep, that does fit very good. We'll get that in there and torque it down. Leave your questions in the comments below. We'll do our best to help you out where we can and how we can, but we will be frank with you with these Chinese manufacturers, whether they're Chinese manufacturers and American distributors, or there's some other brand. Sometimes they're made in America, surprisingly, with Chinese components or predominantly Asian built components. We have found that the manuals are very lacking. This one seems to be okay so far, but they're not going to explain every single detail. We'll try our best to help you out. One of the things that almost always has to be figured out by yours truly is how to unlock the bike, because a lot of times they come in like a sort of a dumbed down version, so they're not quite as fast as they might be or powerful as they might be if you unlock the system. And that takes it from like a class 1 to a class 2 or a class 2 to a class 3 or whatever. In this case, we'll be off-road for the whole kit and caboodle. So we should be able to go as fast or as powerful as we're comfortable with as parents, okay? So we're adjusting the light. Now camera crew back on the right side here. See this? This has to be plugged in down here now. And I'm not sure if there's like a super obvious cable management here. I could go around through this and then double back, or I could just plug it in. See, it's keyed. There's a bump and then 3. I'm just gonna plug it in and see how bad we are for cable management. Don't push too hard because you can bend those pins. Just ask me how I know. Okay, so it's in. And I'm tempted to say, that looks pretty good. Now they gave us zip ties and there is a zip tie right here. I gotta say the cable management so far on this bike has been pretty good. So I definitely don't want to undermine that at all. But you see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like I don't want to have that blocking it at all. The other thing is we could also undo this and go up a little higher, or we could throw one of the provided zip ties into the mix right here and just tie it on. What do you think?
I like just adding a zip tie.
Okay, we'll do that. So guys, let us know what you think of the Unbox build radio setup process on this. Let us know if there's things that we're missing that'd be helpful to you in your own pursuit of success with regard to, I'm gonna torque these down and buy a little bit more. Oh, that shot right in the sink, whoops. By the way, camera crew, put a hand on that just to make sure. I'm gonna grab some sharper side cutters, and these are Knipex cutters. Somebody sent these. If you don't have this, strippers work really good for getting a nice clean cut. I don't want my kid to get cut on that, so I'm gonna come in here and just really get in there and get a nice clean cut, okay? That'll help it so that you don't have people cutting themselves.
So it's not so sharp.
Again, it's just a sharper shear. This is more blunt, okay? Either will work, but it's much less sharp now. All right, so the next maneuver would be technically, we probably want to put the mud flap on.
Yeah, they have wheel and mud flap.
Or do we need to put this on? When does this go on?
I don't know.
Hey, this thing?
Probably not until after the wheel's on. They might not even show it.
They might not even show it. Yeah. But look, I think if you're careful the way you do this, you might be able to tie this back behind. I wonder if we can get away with that.
Yeah. I don't know. We might have to look at a picture.
Yeah,
I
right.
don't see it anywhere in the direction.
Because I'm just fear that if we do it there, it's going to be behind it. But then this has a nice cutout. And this is really well built. I mean, a lot of aluminum, big body members there. I am kind of curious if these are torqued down. Oop, that's a bigger size. That would be a 3/16. Oh yeah, those ones are already torqued. Already torqued. I always like to check these things. Yep, already torqued. Definitely torqued. And torqued. We doing mud flap or wheel first?
Well, it says wheel first.
Oh, really?
Turn the bike upside down on the ground.
Okay.
Place soft foam under the handlebars to prevent crushing the display. Remove the plastic rod between the hooks at the bottom of the front fork. Remove the nuts and washers. Already did that.
They remove themselves.
They did. Lift the front wheel and insert the disc rotor into the caliper. Insert the axle into the hooks at the bottom.
Okay. Hey, I have another idea.
Yeah.
Let's just lay it on its side.
Okay.
Okay, look, I'm gonna grab the body like this because I don't wanna fight the display if I can avoid it.
Yeah.
I'm hitting the brake right now that goes to the back, okay? I'm just gonna do this and see if we can get away with it. We can sometimes, there are sometimes that you can get away with doing this. Sounds like some sort of a squirrel mated with a frog.
The smaller bikes, like the kids ones, are just easier to maneuver just because they're not so
Well, yeah, because some of these bicycles are huge, and you're talking like 4.8-inch tires are huge. They're so heavy. This tire looks really nice. Let's show them the size real quick. 16 by 3, 76 by 305. Beautiful tires. Max inflation, 35 PSI. Looks really nice. Valve stem here. And then this, of course, is going to come off. And there's a nut, an acorn nut, and then this little key thing, and another nut. So let's go ahead and see what we can do. Obviously, the brake rotor, this is the tricky part, is you got to get into that brake. It's got a big brake on it too, which is awesome. The disc. All right, so we got to set this in. And I think that one, do we have to take those nuts off? I really can't tell. Oh, you know what? I got to double check. We don't have to rotate that around, do we?
It doesn't say we do.
Yeah, but look how narrow it is. This measurement is what concerns me. There's no way it would go the other way, is there? Let's look at the pictures. Okay, so as per usual, I didn't listen. And so I got to remove the nuts and washers from both sides. Okay, so this is a nut. Of course, it wants to spin all the way through. So if I grab the other side, that'd make it a lot easier. Here's a nut. Here's a washer. But I don't know if they mean this or not. But I guess, yeah. So I'm just going to undo this other side. Do they show taking the inside ones out?
No.
No? Okay, look. See this, guys? This goes in, and that can torque down on the bearing assembly. And then this thing spins free. This is like an aluminum wheel. That is so sick. Look at that.
That looks nice.
It's really nice. And then, of course, the brake is on a standoff from the aluminum. So that is really solid. So super excited to see how that works. I don't think this is going to fit, though.
Engage.
I think the nuts are going to make it too wide. Yeah, you see? See what I'm talking about? Look, you got to have the nuts out of there. Because there's no, except that's what concerns me, is that this is supposed to possibly go like that.
Oh.
That's what I'm concerned about. But this is the way it came out of the box.
Yeah.
Remember, our screw was screwed up. But I don't think there's enough length for this to go around all the way. Yeah, see, that's breaking as I do it.
Right.
So I don't think that's correct either. Yeah, I think it's got to be this way. But then look, they have texture on that washer or on that nut.
See that.
And then they have texture there too. Obviously, we know which way it goes because the brake goes into the caliper between the discs. But then you can tell, do I just need to stretch it out a little bit?
I think just a little bit. It looks really close.
Close?
Straddle so you can see both.
Okay. You want to see both nuts at once?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Well, I wanted to see if you were going into the caliper.
Okay, I'm in. It's just moving is the problem. Yeah, I'm so dang close. And I understand why they want us to do this upside down. I want to brake and see what happens. Yep, it's grabbing the disc. Okay. So that means that really what I need to do is I just need to get this in somehow. So, camera crew,
Yeah.
I'm I want to film this for the people, but this might be one of those where I need a second set of hands. I'm not sure yet. Let's try. Oh, got it. It just slipped in.
Okay.
I just found the perfect spot and there, look. So this is where you can also check your brakes. Come over here. So because we don't have this upside down, I give you a really good look at it. You see the brake rotor, how it's going in and out? That's so cool. And then holding it, that is beautiful. Love it. Okay, so now the next move is, let's go ahead and acorn nut this. So this drops in there, and that's historically how we've always found them to go, correct?
Yes.
And then this goes on and torques down, and then you'll torque opposite each other. So left and right sides will go opposite one another. So same thing here. So this is gonna go in here. There's a relief. You can give them a low down shot if you want of manettes. A little awkward.
Hold it.
So there's this right there, and then just line up the acorn nut. This is really a pretty easy build. We've done a lot worse. Oh, by the way, you remember that thing, how we weren't gonna cut our son on the zip tie?
Yeah.
Look.
Find another one?
Guys, look. You might wanna do this too. Right here, right here, right here, right there. Yeah, those are all really sharp. But I gotta say, look, there's a channel. There's a channel where all the stuff goes.
Yeah.
Do you wanna know how uncommon that is, folks? I have had to fix a few e-scooters, and oh my goodness, if you want to hate life, fix an e-scooter. It is terrible because they have so many wires that have so many stupid gigantic ends going through so many really small holes, and then they don't label the front and back motors. It's terrible. So you don't wanna ever have to do that. This looks so nice because everything is accessible and there's zip ties to it. Love it. Love it. That is so good.
Are you torquing those
No,
down?
not yet. I was spinning it first.
Okay.
Because you can tell that the brake is obviously rubbing, but it's not terrible actually. We might have to adjust it a little bit at some point. Now they do give you two of these. So there is a 13, 16. Yeah, those are all
different.
Yeah, so that's 17. So 16 here. 16 is what you need. I just don't know if you'll be able to use that and then go to the other side or if it's just gonna spin. I think it's gonna be fine. So now I'm gonna try to torque this down and we'll see how it goes. This feels pretty good. There's a lot of lube on here, so if you grab that and your hands get slick, be careful you wipe them free before you drop a tool on your foot. All right, let's spin the front wheel again. See, now it's really, really binding the brakes. There will be an adjustment for the brake at some point. That brake feels really strong. Good. I love it. A lot of times the adjustment for the brake doesn't come until later. They don't talk about it in the manual almost ever.
No. Rarely.
But I will tell you, you can usually figure out which side is causing it. Okay. And I'm just gonna try to torque this down with a little bit bigger tool now. Oops, I went the wrong way. I feel a little embarrassed about that. I'm upside down. Now, I don't know if you guys remember this, when we had all this whole assembly apart, those nuts set the stage for the up and down position of the wheel. Where did I lay those things anyway, camera crew?
What are you looking for?
The box end wrenches that I just had. What did I do with them? Oh, they're
all
right
top
here.
of the manual.
So these things will fit in here, which is nice. So if you have to get in there and screw with it, they're thin enough. Yep, they do fit. So I'm just wondering if mine are all torqued down, so we're not gonna have any play. We'd have to loosen the acorn nuts, and then you might be able to center this, but there's also usually an adjustment in and out, and it's like probably right here and right there. In fact, I wanna flip the bike. So let me see if I can brake to hold the back wheel. I'm just gonna go back. Oh, that is so cool. Can't wait to see this thing going. Okay, so I'm gonna put this so that I can reposition.
Do you want to kickstand it now?
Nope.
Oh, you're laying it back down.
I wanna lay it down because of what I wanna do is, I wanna try to adjust the brake quick.
I see.
But I wanna do it in such a way that we don't damage the counter. So I'm gonna lift this up, stick the foam under it. That's kind of what I was trying to avoid. I don't think I'm gonna get so lucky. think I'll just do that. Okay, so now guys, this will give us a really good view. Come over here so you can kind of follow along. See, there's a screw here, there's a screw here, and then there's a screw here, and then there's a screw here. This is obviously gonna just bite at different stages of the brake pull, okay? But I want this thing to move in the middle. And so usually what we can do is we can loosen these and it'll allow this to float. Yeah, you can do it. I wonder if I should just flip it upside down at this point. That's obnoxious. Yeah, so let's just adjust it real quick. Okay, so go back here. I'm gonna grab these and these because I don't know which one's gonna do it. Should be a really quick and easy adjustment, which is why I'm doing it here because it's a lot easier than doing it out in the garage. Okay, so I'm gonna break this free. Now, you guys don't necessarily have to do this. The only reason I'm doing this is because it's binding, okay? So I'm gonna break this free. Okay, break it free. And then I'm gonna break this one free. Okay, so now that it's broke free, you don't have to like totally loosen it. You just loosen it enough. Now, camera crew,
Yeah.
you need to be back.
Okay.
Okay, see how that binds? I want to let it be spinning. There's still a little bit of bind. This is going to push it over back and forth too, this set screw here. So I don't know if I'm going to get the adjustment I want out of these two. See how it pulled it back?
Yes.
That's what I want to avoid. So once I torque it down, I want to see if I can spin it until it's free. That feels a lot better. And there's sometimes you'll have a little bit of rub. Okay. Feels pretty good. Once you get it torqued down, then you can get in there and really go crazy with it. Okay, so far so good. And then we'll just torque this one again. Because once it starts to bite, now if you go real crazy on the first one, it's just gonna kick it at an angle. And then you're gonna bind with the brakes, okay? Listen to that, guys. It's not perfect, but it's gonna be perfect after 3 minutes of riding, okay?
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna get in here. Now I'm gonna really torque this, okay? So we just use this handle as an extension. Just get in there and go to town, okay? And then same thing here. I gotta go out here. This is gonna be less torque applied from the ball link, but I can get out here and do this. See what I'm doing? Oh yeah, that's got it nice and tight. Now let's see if it's still. Now we can adjust this one just a hair. Too big, way too big. Okay, so we're gonna go into probably 1/8, I'm guessing. And if these were metric, they would be just whatever the metric equivalent is. They're close enough. Yeah, that works. Nope, that is actually a little bit too big. 7/64 it is. Let's see if that works. If it doesn't, we'll go back to metric. Nope, it's right in between. Dang it. Okay, so we got to go to the in-between size, which would be metric then. Dang. So that's probably a 2.5 millimeter. Looks like 2.5 or 3. Yeah, it works here. So I'm going to loosen this, half a turn, and then we're going to spin. So that's going to basically change the pre-bite on the brake pads. Okay, so I want to see how this goes. Oops, sorry. And that feels really good now. That's tight and it hasn't really changed the bite. Oh yeah. All right, folks, I think I'm done screwing with it. I feel pretty comfortable with where we left things. Now, the other thing you can do is if you don't have enough pressure being applied when you pull here, you can loosen this screw, pull that through, make adjustments as needed. Obviously, if you're not a bike mechanic and you don't know how to do some of these things, I'm not a bike mechanic either, but I'm comfortable with guess and check. And hey kid, does it feel like it's braking good enough? And then you have to work with your kids the first few times. Or maybe your kid does it themselves. I don't know. This is potentially for a bigger kid. So you might have a kid that's old enough and capable enough to do this without any help. But I would assume the average kid is not going to be able to do this without some parental guidance. Okay. All right. So let's look at this. This obviously goes there, correct? Okay. Or wait, does it go this way? Does it go this way? Shoot. I think it goes the other way. I think it goes point forward like this. Doesn't it?
No, I think
let's see if
it doesn't say.
Why do they not make these pictures a little bit better? Guys, if you're watching from the manufacturer, please do me a favor, make a better picture set. Because these are color pictures, but they're not very descriptive.
Is there even a whole picture?
Is there a picture of the whole bike? They have a product installation, video, all that stuff. Here it is, guys. It goes forward. Okay. So not to be expected. I mean, that seems probably a little bit obvious to the dirt bike aficionados. I am back to my 3/16. Stay where you are there. Okay, so we'll just back this off. Would you put a hand on that, please? Good Lord. Why do they have that so tight? Is that just a bracket for the, hold on.
There's no other hardware.
Okay. Yeah, that is definitely the bracket. It's just incredibly hard to undo. Hey, what are you looking at? I don't have any question in my mind about it.
Okay.
So listen, I'm gonna go back to this because I don't want to strip it, but I want to use this to help me along. But I need you to help me hold the bike so it doesn't pop off the stand.
Okay.
When I say stand, I mean the foam. Okay. Got it?
Yes.
Good Lordy Lord. What the heck? By the way, look at this, guys. Yeah, that didn't work.
Okay.
Okay, so next move. Obviously, this would not be a deal breaker, but I don't want it to be an anything breaker. Specifically, the bicycle or the dirt bike. I'm sure there'll be some that are really butthurt about me calling this a bike and vice versa. But if you are, I don't care. So there you go. Now you know, you can take that out of your concern category.
Am I holding again?
You don't need to as much anymore. Now it's repositioned.
Okay.
I just need to be able to get to the tools is all. I have tons of tools that could break this free, folks. So make no mistake, it's just more a matter of I am too lazy to go get them. Good Lord, it finally broke. Finally broke free. That was crazy. That was so tight.
You really don't want your mud flap to come off.
Well, it's not even on yet.
I know.
I'm just more concerned I'm going to strip the part. Okay, good. Now we're good. Yeah, it's definitely a mud flap adapter. Okay, we are going to find them and come right back. All right, so this is going to go through there. We found the washer, it fell. The bolt was on the counter. Okay. Turn on the light for the people. Okay. So I'm going to put this on. Once I get it started, you can see I'm running into the foam. So I got to reposition a little bit before I can torque that all the way down. Okay, so camera crew, I'm going to put the kickstand down and then I'm going to tip this up. Oh yeah. Oh, so cool. I am going to keep the foam in position right where it was in case it would fall. The kickstands many times are not adjusted. So you need to just be careful. This can go up and down. See how it goes up and down? So my suggestion would be to go up as high as you can and then torque this down into that position. It'll be less likely to wobble around and get dislodged or broken. That looks pretty awesome. I am so excited for our son. He's probably freaking out.
Yeah.
If you guys didn't know this, when we film, if you've been watching Brian Phillips RC for a while, our kids, when we were finishing the basement or whatever it is we did down there, they were not able to be downstairs, so it was a real pain. So they kind of got stuck in the rooms. And of course we pause and they go to the bathroom and all sorts of stuff, but sometimes they sneak through secretly. But I bet he's listening to this thinking, oh yeah.
Waiting for you to be done.
That looks so cool. I'm really excited about this one. It's not even for me. So this is awesome. I am so excited. So this is the Arc 1, right?
Yes.
This is probably the most weird step so far, like, because this is not a 3/16. I have metric drive sets that it would be worth. Let's try again now that we have it in there. I'm just a little bit concerned because it was so tight before. I was just afraid that this is such a turd. Look at that.
Yeah, it's really.
Look at that thing. Isn't that ridiculous? It's cut at an angle. And yes, you can use this for torque, but you got to remember, you're only ever going to get this much torque, you know, because you can't really use the second tool. You could unscrew this and then you could put a crescent wrench on it, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of this. Doesn't matter. We've had a million of them from a million different manufacturers. Some of them are incredibly nice, and then you use them like never times.
Right.
So I'm kind of glad we don't have a lot of money tied up in that, because to be honest with you, I'm glad they didn't, because it's just a waste of money.
Right.
And if they waste money, they pass the cost on to us as consumers. Okay, so my next big thing is this is as high as I can make it. Therefore, by the way, there's a protective film that we pulled off of there. I'm trying to figure out if we were to do this, would that get out of the way better so that it stays down? Because remember, we want that light. We do a lot of night riding, okay? Like pretty much exclusively night riding. Ooh, you see what I did? That pulled on the brakes, so we obviously can't do that. I am really tempted to see if we could get that tied right there. I'm just afraid it's gonna cause problems.
Yeah, I bet it's got to go underneath.
Well, but you see what I'm saying? I do not want that blocking the light. That is, but see, that's so much pressure on that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're gonna get so lucky. And the other thing is you can't do it underneath, because it's just gonna hit this big bulk of cables. Oh, there it is. See what I just did there? Got a little bit more of my zip tie through. Folks, I'm kind of a stickler for zip ties. Let's put that in the sink.
Perfect.
There's more. Every time I touch it, it pops a little bit more through. So it looks like this is gonna just zip tie on here, but I am not 100% certain that it doesn't go behind. What do you think, camera crew?
I bet it's supposed to go behind, but again, it's hard to tell from the pictures.
Yeah, and cable management wise, I just feel like if we were to tie this right here, that would be pretty good, but then look, it's always gonna interfere. And I just wish there was a way that it wouldn't interfere.
And I don't want it to interfere with the brakes.
No, obviously the brakes we gotta protect. And this light can still go up, but it can't go down all the way. You're gonna block a lot of that light. We might play with this and come back. All right, so we looked at a couple online pictures. This is actually the newer style light. They have an older style light that's actually an octagonal light, and it's a little bit higher mount. So it's gonna interfere less with this. But I do want to share, I think we need to go like this, just to get that out of the way. And then I want to just, for grins and giggles, I think what we're going to do is we're going to just tie this in here. We're just going to do it. There's also a tie point you could go around here, right here. You see where I did that? And that might buy us enough control authority over the cabling without actually causing a problem. And as with any other bicycle or bike-like project, there is not, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like this is the only way you can do it. There's a million ways to skin this cat, but once we get this, I want it out of the way of the lights, but I do not want the brakes interfered with even a little bit, because you have to remember, you've got this full range of motion, you have to protect it, but you're not changing the position here, you're changing the position down here, okay? So you see what's gonna happen? You should be good, but this is still forced up. If it's forced up, that means you're not gonna be able to see right?
Yes.
So I think we need to still figure a way to get this tied down. I'm not a huge fan of that. I think we're gonna have to tie here and just see if we can do it and still get the brakes to work right. We don't want resistance on the brakes, that would be unacceptable. But we do want the light. I mean, you need the light, right? If you're gonna do nighttime riding. But you see, I'm just concerned that that's gonna be too much on the brakes. So I am not. Okay, so just kind of pressing the brakes. Is that front or back? I can't tell. Yeah, that's front. I think I'm gonna have to do a guess and check here. Yep, that's pulling the brake.
Okay.
So we can't do this, guys. That's too much pressure on the brake. So once we release that, then we should be able to, yeah, we're free now. Gosh, I'm not sure what to tell you, folks. We're probably just gonna have a partially blocked light. That is not cool. I don't like that.
See how much it interferes.
Or let's tie it here and then let's put the front guard on and see if that solves that problem for us, okay? And part of what we try to do on this channel is if we run into a weird technical issue like this, we'll reply back to the manufacturer and suggest that, hey, you know, this is something we noticed that we weren't real fond of. So then this goes right here. And I think we just zip tie through. Is that correct?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, so I'm gonna go like this. I think I want to go like this and then like this, and that'll keep the zip tie head on the back, okay? So then I'll go around, go to my left, please. So here we go. Feed the zip tie through. Remember, we just wanna get this started so that we can, you don't wanna have it all like that. Have it back here, okay? Then we'll use the second one. This one I've already started, so we'll just go ahead and use this. Feed it through from the back. Feed it back through. I don't think this is gonna be long enough now after I already cut it, right?
I don't think it's going to be, but
Yeah, it's not. That's all right. So we'll go like this. And then we'll go back through. So yeah, so they're gonna give you like almost exactly the right amount of zip ties, folks. So don't waste them. You learned your lesson from Brian Phillips, RC. Okay. So we'll go up just a little bit. My goal is to try to keep this wire controlled here. Pull that torque it tight, really tight. Okay. This is flexible and supple, okay? That's pretty sweet. I'll clip this, clip that. Looks really nice. I'm super excited about this bike. I think it's gonna do all the things that they say it's gonna do. That's one of the things we try to do on this channel is just help bring some truth to a place where a lot of marketing comes across as basically, we'll say anything. No, we'll point out all the flaws we find. This one's gonna be a little bit different though, because I won't be actually the one writing it. Okay. So you have to be nice in the comments to my kid. Okay, there it is. All right, I gotta get a different zip tie. I'll be right back. Okay, so keep in mind, I cut the zip ties up here and they didn't end up working out. So that's why I ended up with this slightly smaller zip tie. So if that thing causes some sort of a miserable failure, then we'll remember I did that, okay? That being said, you could do a much bigger zip tie, but this is the one that I grabbed. So it's the one we're gonna use. And it might even be too short. Okay, so I got a bigger zip tie this time, should be considerably easier to finish. So folks, if in doubt, don't do the zip ties up here. Get this done first, and then you don't have to worry about running short. Of course, we had quite a few of the other zip ties from other jobs and things like that. But if you do run short and you don't have a million zip ties, remember, if you were smart and you salvage these like I suggested, you'll have a bunch of these. They might be the wrong color, but you're gonna at least have a little something that will get you by. All right, so one tip, arc 1, okay?
yes.
And that's from what company?
Tuttio.
Tuttio. Tuttio.
Yep.
That is how you keep your chargers straight, because once you get 3 or 4 of these bikes, you will be confused unless you have big differences in voltage, and then it's pretty easy to tell what's going on. Okay, so first things first, let's go ahead and plug this in. Now that it's done being built, just plug it into a regular 110 outlet, and there's a green light that comes on, which is kind of nice. I'm gonna roll this back just a wee bit. And this is the battery. If you just go to the other side in front of the sink there, you should be able to see. Pretty good length cable. We've had a few of these that are just really lacking on the cable length. This one's pretty reasonable. It plugs in just like that and changes to a red condition. And then this is a USB 2.0, which I believe is going to be power takeoff, not for charging, folks. So if you have a cell phone, well, I guess I shouldn't say that. You wouldn't be able to jumpstart it. It's not like you're just jumpstarting it. Let's look at how the keys work. I suspect the keys have nothing to do with anything as it's charging, but I'm just going to go ahead and safely unplug the power. You'll note that the light goes back to green. So key in, turn it all the way. And then how does this work? Does it go up and out? How does this one slide? We'll find out. Okay, so unlock it, turn it all the way counterclockwise, and then push it to that side. Okay, it comes out, and there's all your pins. You can see that's where they are. Fuse, 30 amp, which is nice. There's some sort of schmutz on there, looks like a lube. And then this, of course, battery can be taken off. And it says electric bicycle, 42 volts. Press the power button. That's nice. I like that a lot. So can you do that while it's on? Probably, but you may not be able to see very good. Then you can take this and charge it, okay? So if you're in any sort of doubt about the safety, security of the battery technology, then you can take this, and it's a lithium ion, or no, it just says lithium battery. So I shouldn't say lithium ion. And as it's charging, it doesn't look like it really changes the display. There is a protective film on there that might be able to come off. Camera crew, try it with your nails, please. Because I got my glove on. Yeah, it's got a protective film.
Yeah, it does.
So just peel that quick.
There it goes.
Yes, so much better. Yes, very beautiful. Okay, so this is gonna need to charge for a while, I'm guessing, at 1.5 amps, at 40, this is 42 volts at 1.5 amps. It does feel like it's got a pretty good amount of heft to it. That means that there's a decent heat sink. And you wouldn't believe, some of these e-bikes have the crappiest chargers ever.
Yeah.
This one feels good. It's small, but it is a small bike. One thing that's nice about a small charger is you can usually figure a way to stow it on the bike if you're going for a long drive. And there is a tie down point here, which is kind of nice, I saw right here. So if you have some sort of a package or whatever you want to tie down, and then there's a couple other tie down points here. So if you were to tie down, you could go from here to there and hold down like a small bag or something like that. So super excited to see how this runs, obviously, because it's not fully charged. We don't want to show a lot of speed and it's dark. So we're going to wait till it's fully charged before we vet this thing with a rider. But we might take a quick second and just show you how the controls work on this. And so we'll go ahead and pop off the charger. We'll show you how to load the battery. Remember, it's slid out to the left. One suggestion is before you start riding this, get this thing to have the memory so it's locked in there, okay? It's gonna be a little bit awkward to get that out, I fear. Is that also got a protective on it? Can't tell.
I can't tell.
Try it. I think it's just over the top of it. No, it's not. Okay, so watch how this is gonna go. You're gonna come around from the side here. You're gonna drop it in. And the key has to be in the unlocked, okay? So like if you have this out, you see the unlock mechanism?
Yes.
If it's unlocked, you won't get it in, okay? So you have to unlock, put it in, and then lock it. Then you don't have to worry about somebody stealing your battery, but they could steal the bike, okay? So just keep in mind, this allows somebody to stop them from propelling the bike on its own, but they can just pick it up and put it in a car.
Right.
Okay, so if you're gonna lock it, you're gonna have to have a lock. Or
But
something.
if you store them like in an outbuilding or something and you want to bring the battery in to charge it, you could take the battery off. Would probably
Yes,
be the easiest thing.
That is one way to do it.
Yep.
Okay, so we're gonna get it on the ground real quick, and here, I'll just show you. Because this bike, it might matter to somebody, depending on how heavy it is. If it's too heavy, pull the battery out. But like this battery, it's pretty heavy, but it's not anything crazy. We've had a lot heavier e-bikes. And then of course, you can see it's got really good suspension, forward and backward. This is adjustable. It's the best way to adjust it is to basically get a tool and adjust it. but I don't usually use a tool to adjust them because I don't usually have to adjust them, admittedly. And then if you're big and you try to put too much weight back here, I just want to warn you, you hear it all crinkling and yeah, so that's maybe not so good. But it definitely does move. It's going to work. You'll want to take some time to adjust this. And there's a power button on here. In fact, we were probably better at the angle we were at before, but we'll just go ahead and show it like this. So there's a power button right here. Oh, wow, that's cool.
Oh, that lights up.
Look at this display. That's gorgeous. Okay, now I'm gonna just lean this real quick. Pull the throttle. Nothing. Brake.
Oh, the brake light came on. Brake.
Brake. Very good. Okay, so let's go ahead and horn. Whoa. Good light. Okay, so light's shining up. Look at the ceiling. See, that's what I was afraid of. See, in order to get that thing down, we're gonna have to be in front of the cables and then we can rock it down.
There we go.
But I just don't, I mean, obviously you don't want it super low, but that definitely looks like a very, very narrow band of light. So a little bit disappointed on that. There is a plus and minus. We're on speed 0. That's why it's not going anywhere. And then there's minus. So plus, okay, now remember, be careful. This is your throttle, okay? If in doubt, hold the brake. But remember, when you hold the brake, you might give a little bit of throttle and have a chirp of throttle. Oh, that's not bad. So that's 6.7 miles an hour in speed 1, speed 2. Camera crew, come up here. 10.2, there's 3, 16, speed 4, speed 5, and that's 27.3, and then braking. That's cool. Okay. Holy crap, it's still spinning. Oh, because I'm braking the wrong side. Okay, folks, so there you have it. Obviously, we have brakes, we have lights, and we have a plus and minus. A plus all the way to the top. Plus doesn't go any further. Minus takes you to the other direction. Okay. And then how do we turn the lights on? We press the light button. It's a toggle switch. It goes on or it goes off. So it's very simple. You don't have to like press and hold anything, which is nice. And then of course these menus, if you press and hold
go
this,
to walk mode.
No, it just walks. That is walk mode. So
yeah.
Pressing minus, that will walk you. Okay, so now there's gotta be a way to change this. I bet we can change the color, or we might be able to change the color. So let's figure out how to get in the menu and we'll come right back. Okay, so pressing and holding plus, we'll go to a dim display, and then it changes if you do a momentary. Press and hold it again, and it'll wake back up to the bright. Pressing and holding plus and minus will enter the parameter menu. So you'll go plus or minus, so it's parameter 1, parameter 2, parameter 3. Well, that says 36 volts. See, is that weird? I thought this was 42 volts. Parameter 4, 10, parameter 5, 0 through 5, parameter 6, inch, 16-inch wheels, parameter 7, 1, parameter 8, 62 miles per hour, parameter 9, 0, parameter 10, 2, parameter 11, 5, parameter 12, 3, parameter 13, 6, parameter 14 is 20A, parameter 15 is 13.5 volts, parameter 16 is 0, parameter 17 is 0, 18 is 1, and then it goes back to 1. So those are the default parameters. So now camera crew is going to show you the manual, and let's see if this times out after a minute. This is where you're going to do your basic kind of changes to the setup on this bike. One other thing we mentioned off camera, we'll just kind of put this here, and then let's do the whole page. If you guys ever need help from Brian Phillips RC videos and we don't discuss what you need, check out the link in the video description below. That's where you can help support us financially by buying the products that we review. If you don't like this, if it's not right for you, we're not asking you to buy anything like that. But what we do want you to do is if you are going to buy them based on a little bit of help that we were able to give you in this build series or right on, then buy it from the links if you're going to buy it, and that supports us financially. So these manufacturers will know that we sent you to the product sales page, and whatever partner we were working with for a particular bike will know that we sent you there, which is nice. So they just get a cookie that says, hey, they were at Brian Phillips RC, so send them a commission. So we make commissions, which is nice. If it sucks really bad, then don't buy it. If it's really awesome or you think it's gonna be great, then buy it. If it's really great and you don't want it, then don't buy it. You know, we're not trying to twist your arm or anything. And frankly, we don't care what item you buy when you support Brian Phillips RC. We just want to make sure it's right for you. And so one of our big claims to fame on this channel is we want to help prevent one and dones in the RC arena. This is obviously not a radio controlled item, but it is a ride-on electronic. And so it's really fun and we enjoy these things as well. So at the end of the day, our family has things that they like and we use our aerodrome to enjoy some of this stuff. We can showcase it and it's really fun for us, but mostly for our kids. In this case, obviously a kid's bike. Being that it's a 150-pound weight limit, I'm just like 2 or 3 pounds over. So let's just joke. I'm like twice that. So I would be way heavy. Normally I would just ride it anyway, but I don't want to break it, okay? But we want to show all the different things that we can control and get the most out of a particular product. If you need help with a manual, go like you're going to buy it from the link in the video description below. And then many times there's going to be an offering for an electronic manual if you need it. Even if you're not buying it, if you bought it from a swap meet somewhere, you bought it on eBay or whatever, that's fine. We're not trying to beat you over the head with that, but it is a really good way to help us financially without actually sending money, which is nice. Plus it helps us to build relationships with the different companies that we do work with, because we work with a lot of different companies on Brian Phillips RC. So if they're selling products that suck, you'll know, because I won't be excited about them. And if we're selling products that are really nice, this looks like it's really nice. I'm super excited. By the way, I want to just point out one thing. This light on the side, okay, it may seem sort of like, you know, why do we have a light on the side of the bike? Well, anytime you've seen a kid riding at night, you'll immediately understand that is super helpful as a parent. You can see where they are, you can see what direction they're going, stuff like that. It really helps. He has another bike that he rides right now, and it's a small, like 300 watt bike. This thing is way more. How many watts?
I don't know.
It's a lot more.
It is a lot more.
Let's just say, we should probably say what that is real quick.
Well, and we can say it in the other thing.
It's a 750 watt drive system. So that's a lot more wattage. It's more than double. Well, and I think the other one's 300 to 350. And it was a great bit. But I mean, you go maybe like 10.2 miles an hour. This is considerably more speed. So we're gonna have protective gloves, we're gonna have protective helmet, and of course, you know, probably long pants until the next time he rides it. But the truth is, at the end of the day, we want to try to provide a safe environment for our kids, and we assume you do too. If not, you know, you get a real gas bike for them, you know, that goes like 50 miles an hour or 70 miles an hour, and you can send them over air launch jumps. I don't understand that, but there are people that do it. So congratulations if you do it. This would be a great warm up. At the end of the day, I just love the features. I love the lights. I think it's going to be enough power to get the job done. Obviously you already saw the ride on, so we put that at the beginning. Are these gonna be separate videos?
No, it'll be all together.
Be all
right at
together?
the beginning. Yep.
So at the end of the day, we're really excited for this. We wanna help you guys find the value that you need in these particular products. In this case, this e-bike. And so we don't claim to be like super big experts, but we probably have more expertise than you might imagine. If this is the first time you've seen Brian Phillips RC doing an e-bike, we've probably done 20 of them. So that's more than we had before we did this channel. So we had 0 before. Also, we've worked with a lot of different manufacturers, and a few of them have been real stinkers to work with, and a few of them have been actually really good to work with. So far, these guys have been very eager to get their videos on board. So we're excited. We hope it's half as good as they say it is. But if it's terrible, we'll tell you that too. Anyway, at the end of the day, it's Tuttio. Sure. So whatever that is, Arc 1. Really excited to be bringing you this. Oh, and by the way, those settings that we were going through, if you decide to adjust them, did it say how to actually make the adjustments?
And I paused on that screen, so if they saw that with the plus and minus.
Plus and minus, yeah. Because what you're gonna do is you're gonna scroll with the plus or minus, and then you're gonna hit the other button to change the value. But just remember, there are certain values that you can change, and it'll make a difference, and there's certain values that you can't change. And so just pay special attention to that. Yeah, and it's on page 23, 22, 23. 22 helps you get in, 23 helps you get in and actually change things. So rated voltage setting, sleep timer, PAS, which is the pedal assist. There is no pedal assist on this because it's just pedalless. Not sure what that's gonna be. Controller current limiting is 1 through 50 amps. That'd be a big one. Battery under voltage setting. That's where it's gonna basically kind of shut itself down. And it looks like the walk boost setting, it's going to 6 kilometers per hour by default, it looks like right now. So at the end of the day, you can switch between units. Right now, I believe it was in miles per hour.
I believe it was,
it's in miles per hour, which is pretty cool. And then I don't see if there's actually a parameter for limiting the miles per hour. So let's check on that. We'll pause. Okay, so that's parameter 8. It says speed limit setting. So parameter 8 is 0 through 1, or excuse me, 1 through 100 kilometers per hour. So parameter 8 is the speed limit setting option. So if you want to change the speed limit, you get a kid that maybe you don't trust with it, then you can change that setting there. So you would just go to parameter 8. So I'll show you how to do this. So you'd go plus then minus, so it doesn't try to walk on you. See, I did it too much of a disparity. Press plus, get it back to bright. Plus and minus simultaneously. Okay, so let's go to parameter 8. So once you're at parameter 8, it says 62. Whoops, dang it. Gotta go back to 8. Was it 8, hon?
Yeah.
And then there's this power button. So power gets you into it and it says 62. So you could change it back down. I'm gonna set it really low. I'll set it to 10, okay? And then I'm gonna exit the menu by going all the way through. I don't even think you have to do anything. It just times out. So once you change that setting, you can long press to save the parameter setting and exit, okay? So I'm gonna long press, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now it's out. Now this should be limited no matter what speed setting we're in. I'm gonna go to speed 5, which should be the full speed. Now watch how fast this goes. Come over here. You gotta be able to show the people. See, it says 10, it says nothing. It's supposed to be limited to 10. So obviously it's not quite limited, but that's speed 5. And it went to a considerably less powerful speed. So maybe it's not exactly right, but I will also tell you this, is that really a 16? I thought maybe that was a 20, but it is a 16, right?
Yeah.
So let's go back in. So plus and minus simultaneously. Okay, so we'll go back to parameter 8 again and go into parameter 8 with power, and then I'm gonna run it all the way to the top. So I had it set to 10, just so you know.
But it seems like ours came by default at the highest setting.
Which, to be honest with you, I'm gonna go back to 0, aren't I? Yeah, you can go down though. Okay, so 62. So then we'll press and save it by pressing and holding power. Now check this out, speed 5, okay? Now lift this off on the kickstand and we'll give it some throttle. 26.8. Okay, there it is, okay? So, and it could be that it's not tabulating the exact speed exactly right, but either way, the whole point is this, it's gonna go fast or it's gonna go slow. You have control of it. As a parent, you can not teach your kids to get in the parameters menu, but we just taught them. So you're welcome, kids. Be safe, wear a helmet, protect yourself. You don't get a second sense of smell or whatever it is that you're gonna lose when you whack your head on concrete. Which, by the way, in case you guys are curious how that happened, I don't know. I think a cat ran in front of me and I went over the bars and I hit the top of my head. It was the weirdest thing ever. My daughter was riding a bicycle just on our regular runway. This is a pretty flat, straight driveway, a little bit of elevation change. I was right in the middle of it, flat, level, nothing around. It was a beautiful night. My friend was loading a drone into his car and he wasn't looking and she wasn't looking because she was turning around. And 45 minutes later, we were at the hospital doing a brain scan. Yes, it was there.
Most of it.
But I don't remember any of it.
Nope.
And lots of really hilarious jokes that I told the people at the hospital. So yeah, so we can't change the color of the light, but that'd be cool if you could. Anyway, at the end of the day, that's why you wear a helmet, kids. I still don't know to this day what the heck happened. And it would be really nice to know why I lost my sense of smell. So every once in a while, I'll get a whiff of something. But that's about it. And it's very weird. So I'm old and I could smell perfectly before. But lucky for me, I go into a lot of nasty plants and not smelling is kind of convenient. But when there's a fire, it would be helpful to smell. Or when there's a fuel leak, it'd be helpful to smell.
Or bacon.
Or bacon. No, I can smell some stuff. I just can't smell like I could before. It's weird. It's hard to explain. Anyway, at the end of the day, wear a helmet, guys. Protect yourself a little bit. And get one of these if you want to have a good time for your kids. Check it out. The ARC. Is it ARC 1 or ARC I?
I think it's ARC 1.
Okay. I thought it was 1. It's like a Roman numeral.
Yeah, I
1.
believe so.
Okay. So by Tuttio. Check the links in the video description below if you want to help support Brian Phillips RC, but this isn't the thing for you and you want to buy something, check out brianphillipsrc.com and you can find all sorts of competitive products. We have a ride-on category that will have all the different ride-ons we've done over the years, some of which have been much better than others. And all I'm going to tell you is this. We have found that direct proportionally more expensive tends to be faster, but not necessarily better. And where it gets really weird is the fit of the bicycles, okay? For me, because I'm tall enough and big enough, I can get on most of them. But man, oh man, if you get a 20-inch wheel and you're a big 300-pound guy, it looks comically bad. It's just about as bad as me getting on this thing right now. So you're gonna want 26-inch wheels and you're gonna want fat tires if you're off-roading. And I love the fat tires and I love the 26-inch wheels, but you're talking about a 100+ pound bike, okay?
And some of the bikes are huge. So if you're a smaller frame,
you can't get on.
Some of the bikes,
so
my
if
daughter
you don't
and I
like
can't ride.
the low bars are still high.
Yeah.
So be careful because sometimes they intersect like halfway up and it's like they're still higher than a normal bike. So one of the biggest trade-offs to buying online is you may not be able to see that. So make sure you check, inseam and stuff like that. And so that's one of the things we'll talk about when we have our son riding is his overall size. Not to get too personal, but we just want to make sure that you can understand about how much he weighs and about how tall he is. And then we'll probably actually have our bigger kids ride it too, even though it might look a little bit comical because they're quite a bit bigger kids. My son is almost taller than me now. Almost, I say. Jury's out. But at the end of the day, he's much lighter than me. So he should be in the weight range for sure.
He'd be real close, yeah.
He'd be close, but he'd be good.
Yeah.
So one day he'll be like me.
He's just really tall.
He just needs to eat like 4,000 cheeseburgers and he'll catch up. All right, guys. So other things you can do at bprc.me is you can find links to buy, but you can find links to the playlist if it's a competitive offering, or maybe it's a fixed wing aircraft you're after or a helicopter you're after. It's all sorted by type right there for you. You don't have to search too far. And the only reason I say is because even though YouTube is a Google product, you would think that the world's largest search engine would make it easy to find stuff on YouTube. But after you have about like multiple thousands of videos, we have trouble finding our own videos. So we will go to the resource that is brianphillipsrc.com or bprc.me to find stuff. It's sorted better and you can get right to the playlist. So that being said, thanks for watching, guys. Other ways to support us, we have super thanks for one-time donations as well as PayPal for one-time donations or monthly support at PayPal or YouTube members. Thanks for being members. If you are one, we appreciate you being here and appreciate you coming back. But at the end of the day, if this isn't your bag of tricks, we understand there's more to come right around the corner. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned.